Big thank you to the T5 peeps, Bob the Dragon, Datamagnet, Cat Crab Lobster, DuckMachine, Astraya the Dreamer, Mezec, Feudic Jarl, Casper Arnholtz, and Chaos to Mist. Thank you very much. Story number 1. Mosquito, written by Redshift Razor. Bellis was a nervous wreck, a very nervous wreck, but he had his duties to perform, and he always did them dutifully, regardless of whether he potentially die from his superior's imminent outbursts. He slowly flew down the corridor, leading to the High Adeptus' quarters, taking the necessary moments to steel himself. As the navigator of their newly christened experimental ship, the onus of their current predicament would be mostly on him, though, at his heart of hearts, he believed that the High Adeptus' obstinate need to keep moving forwards, regardless of the strain on the engines, was to blame. He wouldn't dare say that out loud, though. He knocked 7 times on the door to the quarters, each knock precisely spaced apart so as to not offend the High Adeptus' ears. 30 seconds later, he heard a single knock in reply, which meant that the High Adeptus allowed him the honor of entering his abode. If he cared not for consequences, he would have chuckled at the thought, yet he couldn't risk the High Adeptus hearing that and taking it as an insult. He slowly opened the door and closed it behind him, making sure not to disturb his superior's mental focus. With impeccable posture, he took a slow and measured steps to within 10 paces of the High Adeptus' perch. Any closer would be infringing on his space, which meant severe punishment. Though given their current predicament, it would most likely result in a lesser chastising. He bowed down and swept his wings back, and then proceeded to speak. "I offer my greetings and good faith to you, High Adeptus Mosman," he said as clearly and concisely as possible. He wouldn't dare make the High Adeptus strain his ears to hear him. "I hear your greeting and offer it in return, First Navigator Bellos. Do you bring good or bad news?" replied the High Adeptus, not even deigning to give Bellos the honor of being looked upon by him. "It pains me to say that I bring bad news, along with the good, Your Excellence. Speak of which you would like to hear first, and I'll answer every question of yours to the best of my ability." The High Adeptus continued to gaze at the painting on the wall, barely even moving from his position. Bellos remained in his bowed position, not daring to move unless the High Adeptus stated otherwise. It was close to 20 minutes before he heard the command to rise, much to his relief. "Like I always say, it is best to receive the bad news first. What do you have to say, First Navigator?" said the imperious being, who had finally turned towards Bellos. "Your Excellence, it is the belief of the science officers on board that are stranded on a peculiar planet, one where the life has grown to gargantuan size. Furthermore, due to the strain on the hopper engine, we won't be able to leave for 26 hours. There is also a concern about the megafauna, as preliminary scans reveal that the dominant species on this planet is intelligent, to the point where they've begun colonizing the other bodies in their solar system. We will have trouble hiding from them if they take interest in our ship." "What do you mean?" Upon hearing this, Bellos' face paled. Had he offended him in some way? "Your Excellence, I do not have the breadth and depth of knowledge that you do. I would be honored if you enlighten me as to what you mean, so that I may serve you better." The High Adeptus stayed silent for a moment before replying. "You would suggest hiding from these slumbering beasts, instead of willingly gracing them with the knowledge of our illustrious species." "Your Excellency, I have my doubts as to whether these lumbering beasts even have the ability to appreciate our splendor. I only have your safety in mind, after all." "That seems to be an acceptable train of thought." Upon hearing these words, Bellos relaxed. It seemed that his waffling had saved him from a potential outburst. "Now tell me, what is the good news?" Bellos put himself together before answering, glad that the stressful part was over. "The hopper engine is a resounding success, and once we return to our home world and the data we have gathered, we will be able to send a full invasion force. Another world will be added to your bountiful realms, High Adeptus. That does put me in a good mood. I wonder how the other Adeptuses will react to my conquering of a world of Leviathans. No doubt they will be some marvel consternation towards my illustriousness once again. No, that does make me wonder. Perhaps I should take a souvenir to adorn my halls. My ship should be capable of transporting one Leviathan fang, correct? You are absolutely correct, Your Excellence. Belus was shocked at hearing this, and he just told him that they needed to hide from these giants. How in the world would they take one down? He didn't dare voice his thoughts, yet he needed to find a way to keep his crew safe from both the giants and the foolish High Adeptus' haughty machinations. Which was when an idea popped into his head. He proceeded to bow before the High Adeptus once again, except this time with a head touching the floor. He made sure to warble his voice to the point where it sounded like he was on the point of tears. Your Excellence, none of us can possibly compare to you in magnificence or hunting prowess. Should you wish, you could feast on the blood of every Leviathan in the strange world, even though none of us could stand before you as equals. May we have the honor of recording your valiant battle with the Leviathan. I would be blessed to do so, and it would be another accolade under a long list of your accolades. The High Adeptus looked at him before smiling. You don't think I see what you're doing? Belus froze. Crap. You and your entire familial line would be elevated for illustrious honor of recording and vanquishing a Leviathan. That is an excellent idea. Plus, I get to rub it in the other Adeptus' faces, so I approve. Make sure to get my spear and armor ready. I'll be heading out soon. You may leave. Belus bowed again before making a 180-degree turn and leaving, making sure to close the door the exact same way he had when he had entered. It was only once he had returned to his quarters that he dared relax his posture and let out a breath that he'd been unconsciously holding. I can't believe it. It had actually fucking worked. He paced around his room in relief and disbelief. Relief that, due to the recording and the High Adeptus stating his ambition on camera, he and his crew would not face reprimands. He felt disbelief due to the fool actually thinking that he could take down a giant with his relatively miniature plasma weaponry, though he supposed that was the consequence of living life without consequences. And so, half an hour later, the High Adeptus set off. Hey, Billy, yeah, Marcus, you down to watch the football game in a couple days? Me and Dylan are going down to the pub on Sunday. They're serving beer half price because it's the finals. Crap, half price, yeah. Okay then, you'll see me. Ow! Beck, what's wrong, mate? Becking Mosquito just bit my cough. Give me a second to get it. Go ahead, mate. Come look at this, mate. Ain't that the weirdest mosquito you've ever seen? Yeah, that's pretty strange looking. Anyway, you down for Sunday? Yeah, mate. You'll see me there. Do you mind if I bring Michael? The more the merrier, mate. Okay, then I'll see you on Sunday. See ya. End of story. Story number 2. An Unspoken Idea, written by Rhinobird. You are a curious little idea, aren't you? The wordsmith looked over at the little unspoken one. Why do you need a wordsmith? I want to see the human world, the little idea said. I see. And do you have any notion how much trouble a little idea like you can get up to in the human world? The idea looked down at her feet. I have to find my way to someone's ear. We all need to find our way, little one. But the wrong word in the wrong place at the wrong time can have catastrophic consequences. Empires fall, love's dashed, lonely hearts lose hope. I need to find my way. And I have to hear it. The little idea looked up, a determined look in her face. The wordsmith crossed his arms. It's a lot of work to make a word. The shape has to be just right, or it fails to resonate properly. Do you have a shape in mind for your word? The unspoken idea presented a small bit of paper. The wordsmith looked at it. No, this is all wrong. What sort of idea are you? And whose ear is this to fall? No, never mind. I can see what kind of idea you are. Fairly simple, easy to shape. I require payment. I have this. The idea handed over a token of courage. The wordsmith looked at the pittance and smiled. He adjusted his apron and walked over to the forge and stoked. The phonetic calls glowed brighter. He pulled out the now red-hot word and placed his anvil to proceed to hammer it into shape. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope